Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hooked on Life by 3. In today's episode, I'm going to explain the process that I used to repair my cracked concrete and resurface it. I'll just walk around and show you just a quick video on how it looks today. Before I explain the process, I'll just let you know a bit of a backstory on how this all come about. So we got some concrete laid here, about 100 square metres, and about 24 hours after it was laid, we'd seen a lot of cracking. We had our concreter. He was really good. He wanted to fix it. He come back and he put a concrete sealer mixed with a coloured tint over the top, hoping to hide all the cracking. It was unsuccessful. You could still see all the cracking. He then got advised of another resurfacing product that you'll see here, that it didn't work. He showed no respect when he come back and did it this time. He put paint on the bricks. He did no proper cutting in or taping up, masking up. It was very slapdash job, and we just said stop. We want to get a professional in to do it. We got a quote. It was around $12,000, I think. I knew this was never going to happen, so I decided, I need to move on in life. I'm going to have a go at it myself. I'll go to Bunnings and see what they got. And this is what I come up with, and I'll go through the process and explain each step that I took. And at the end, you'll see, at the start of the video, you'll see that was 6 months on, and it's still holding up, and there's no signs of cracking. So far, so good. So the first job was to pressure clean, acid wash, grind, scrub, and get the second coat that they put on off, because it didn't adhere. That's why it didn't work. It didn't stick. Literally poured water on it and it was coming off. So that had to be removed. The first concrete sealer they put on, that seemed to be holding up pretty good. So yeah, it was just a matter of getting rid of the attempt number 2, which was mainly cut in around the edges. They didn't do the whole 100 square meters. Next job was to V out all the cracking. I used a grinder to V it all out, and I also removed around 50 mil of around the crack, just to remove the sealant to make sure the crack filling compound stuck. I then ran over the whole area with a sander just to make sure that the sealant did adhere as well as I thought. Also then lots of pressure washing, acid washing, lots of cleaning. I then used the concrete crack filler compound, as you see on the screen, with a spatula. Went around and filled up all the cracks. Had to go over it 2 or 3 times because it did seep into the crack and had a bit of a hollow spot, so I had to go over it a couple of times. It's now time to start the concrete and paving coating system in 3 stages. Stage 1 was the cleaning. So you follow the instructions on the cleaning, dilute it with water, you pour it on with a watering can, scrub with a broom, and then pressure clean it off. It was then time to start stage 2 of the process, which was the primer. The bare concrete primer, I did 2 coats as required, and the sealed concrete primer, I did just the 1 coat. Finally, it was stage 3, the finish. I started off with a roller, as you can see in this clip, but it did not go on very thick at all. I wasn't real happy with it. It was very, very thin. It was because it was the super grit, it didn't show the grit very well. So I decided to change the process. I decided to just use a paintbrush. Quite tedious job, but I just did like a swirl pattern, like arches, side by side, mixed them in, chopped it around to try and get a bit of a texture going, and it went on a lot better, a lot thicker, and I was a lot more happier. But was a back-breaking job to do 100 square meters with a paintbrush, 2 or 3 coats. I also noticed where I'd filled all the cracks, it was a bit raised and was quite noticeable. So I went back over and just gave it a bit of a grind back so it blended in better. It's now time to repeat the process and do the other half. Thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, be sure to ask. I'm happy to explain anything further if needed. I'm happy with the finish. It's not 100% perfect, but I do understand it was probably just shrinkage cracking, not structural cracking. It just didn't feel the point when you're spending a lot of money to see all this cracking all through your brand new concrete. But yeah, I'm happy with how it looks now.